Why? Yes, he is the last powerful Mughal emperor Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb, he was a very powerful Mughal emperor. After his death, the glory of Mughal empire started declining because a new political power started emerging in India, that is British rule. So, in this session today we will learn how the Britishers came to India, for what purpose, and how they could extend their power in the vast empire. You might be knowing that the Britishers came to India for trading purpose. Trading means business, that is purchasing or selling the goods. So, for trading purpose the Britishers came to India, but later they started occupying most of our Indian kingdoms, that we will learn in this chapter. And finally, how they could emerge their power and authority over India. Aurangzeb, he ruled nearly 49 years of almost all the Indian subcontinent, but later him the Britishers came and started ruling. The English imposed their rule. In 16th century, the East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England, Queen Elizabeth I, granting it the sole right to trade with the East. So, what is the meaning of sole right? Means exclusive right, the right given to only one individual or a group or a company, that they will only have the permission or grant. So, what is the meaning of charter? Charter means a written grant by sovereign. Sovereign means supreme power, highest authority. So, this East India Company, remember this name children. So, East India Company got the permission from Queen Elizabeth I, that is known as charter. So, by getting this charter, no other trading group in England could compete with East India Company. So, with this charter, this company could venture across the oceans looking for new lands from which it could buy goods at a cheap rate and carry them back to Europe to sell at higher prices. Children, what does this East India Company do? We already came to know that the Britishers came to India for trading purpose. So, they came to India to get some goods from our country, then they will take them through the ships for their country, and after producing the goods in their factories, again they will bring back to India for selling. In this way, the Britishers started business relations with India. In this picture, you can see the headquarters of East India Company in London. Headquarters means the main office building of the company. It is located in London, Europe. So, mercantilism. So, what is this? Mercantile is a business enterprise that makes profit primarily through trade. Just now we came to know that they took the raw material from India, then they will make the profit out of it. By the time the first English ships sailed down the west coast of Africa, round the Cape of Good Hope and crossed the Indian Ocean, the Portuguese had already established their presence in the west coast of India and had their base in Goa. Children, do you know first who discovered the sea route to India? Might be some of you telling the right answer. Yes, it is Vasco da Gama. It was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, who had discovered this sea route to India in 1498. You can see the picture of Vasco da Gama. Remember children, it is the Portuguese who came first to India for trading, not the Britishers. Before the Britishers came to India only, already the Portuguese started their trading relations with India. You can see in this map, this is Europe and here is India. So, the European traders, they wanted to have trade relations with East countries. So, India is located in the East. So, they wanted to come to India. So, for that reason, they need to come across this vast continent called Africa. Just now we came to know that the Portuguese sailor Vasco Da Gama discovered the sea route. So, he started from here. Portugal is a country in Europe. From here, he came round about the Africa Sea. First, it is a Cape of Good Hope. It is a harbour here. Then from here again, they reached to India at Calicut in 1498. So, in this way, they discovered the sea route to India, then started the trading relations with India. Children, what might be the reason that all these European countries wanted to have trade relations with India? Yes, India is a very rich in resources, so that all these European countries, they need raw material and they need most of the goods they take from our country and sell in other countries to earn the profits, that is trading. So, India is a big market in Europe, especially for cotton, a very fine quality of cotton, silk and even spices like cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, etc. Okay? Great demand for Indian goods. The fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe. Spices like pepper, cloves, cardamom and cinnamon too were in great demand. So, competition among the European companies pushed up the prices of these goods. So, when there is a demand for the goods, there will be increase of the prices and also competition. Trade was carried out with arms and trading posts. Arms means weapons and trading posts, that means centers. Trading centers were protected through fortification by building some forts. And fortified settlements and profitable trade led to conflict with local rulers of India. So, children, see in this slide, this is a drawing of Machilipatnam during 1676. Machilipatnam was a port town which served as a settlement for European trading companies. Armed traders. European traders formed their own companies to trade in India, like France has its own company, England has its own company, in that way. So, mainly two major companies were there, that is East India Company of England and French East India Company. So, there was a major competition was between these two companies, and these two companies fought against each other to capture the trade in India. So, European countries like England, Spain, Portugal, France, Holland and Germany were acquiring colonies in North and South Africa, America and Asia. So, what are colonies, children? A colony is a territory which is having political authority of another country. Say for example, India was also a colony for Britishers. They made India as a colony. So, from colony they take the raw material and whatever the major products they need in world market, so that they will take from our country and again they will sell in the world market. So, like India is a colony for Britishers. So, colony means territory or an area or a country which is under the control of other country. Now, the colonies, all these colonies contributed to the power and wealth of these European countries. See here children in this picture, you can see the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. He granted powers to Robert Clive. He granted the right to rule the Bengal. That means collecting revenue, taxes, all these called Diwani rights, and this right was granted to Robert Clive, and this is the beginning of the British rule in India. This is a major incident from where the interference of British East India Company started. Later, the Mughal emperors as well as many kings and nawabs began to realize how dangerous it was to let such traders maintaining their armies means military, building forts, fight battles and use military force to establish their economic power in their kingdoms. So, at the early stages, even our Indian rulers, they allowed these companies to interfere, but later they realized that it is dangerous, then they started putting check on their companies. But as long as the Mughal emperor was very strong, it had not been possible for the European companies in India. In fact, emperors like Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb had fought and defeated the European companies on a number of occasions. Just now we came to know that Mughals were very strong rulers in India. So, when Mughals were ruling, for these companies it is not possible to expand their power or interfere in the political matters. For example, in 1764, Nawab Anwaruddin Khan of Arcot fight against the French company, but to everyone's astonishment means surprisingly, it is a very big surprise that why it is surprise, the small French army defeated the large army of Nawab. The French army is very small, but Nawab's army is very large, even though the French army defeated. The European traders became bolder after this victory. So, with this, the East India Company started interfering in the Indian rulers' administration. So, they started asking the rulers for the more permissions and concessions in taxes. Growing European interference in India. Companies used military power, they started maintaining more military army people, and if Indian rulers fighting among themselves, they would lend their army. In return, the rulers also gifted the companies. This means the East India Company not only interfering in the administration of the local rulers, when there is a conflict between the two rulers, local rulers, they started lending help to one Indian king by sending their armies. In that way, again that ruler after winning, he used to give as a gift in return. What are those gifts? Territorial gifts. Say for example, Dupleix, a governor of French East India Company, helped Muzaffar Jung to become the Nizam of Deccan. In return for that, Muzaffar Jung gave the French some territories near Pondicherry and also the town of Machilipatnam. But slowly the English company began emerging victorious over the French company in the struggle for dominance in India. But this company started misusing the power, not simply interfering in the politics or helping the Indian rulers, they also misused the power. Let's see. Are you following, children? Let's go further. The Indian rulers soon found that the burden of giving gifts to the English East Indian Company, some Indian rulers exempted the company from paying taxes. They refused to pay the taxes and they rejected the concessions for the companies. For example, see here children, the king Siraj-ud-Dawla. This is most important incident happened in Indian history, children. In 1757, the English defeated Siraj-ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Bengal, at the place called Plassey and established their rule over Bengal. So, after defeating Siraj-ud-Dawla, they took away that Bengal region and they started ruling by themselves. And this battle of Plassey as an important event in Indian history. And after this, the English started conquering many other kingdoms of India. you need to remember this name of the battle. What is it, children? Battle of Plassey. Who was the king defeated? It was Siraj-ud-Dowla, the Nawab of Bengal. In which year? 1757. The East India Company forced Nizam of Hyderabad to hand over the coastal Andhra Pradesh districts known as Krishna, East Godavari, West Godavari, Srikakulam, Vijayanagaram, Prakasham, Vishakhapatnam and Guntur between 1765 and 1768. Children, the East India Company slowly occupying India. First they occupied the Bengal. Now they got more freedom, and then they started forcing the Indian rulers to hand over some lands to them for ruling. In that way they asked the Andhra Pradesh districts for ruling. See here, children, in this slide you can see just now we came to know the districts were demanded by company. These were known as northern Sarkars of the Madras province of the company. But some of the kings, they did not agree with all these things and they wanted to put check on these company's powers. Kings and Nawabs such as Hyder Ali and Tippu Sultan of Mysore and others understood the British plot. Plot means planning, and fought hard against them. But their kingdoms were very small, they lost them to the English. Here English means British. So Tippu Sultan fought very bravely with the British company, but they could not win over the Britishers. Generals like Robert Clive, Warren Hastings and Lord Wellesley played very important role in the British success. In many places the English official known as the resident would be assigned to stay in the king's court to keep an eye on the kingdoms. So children, all these British company, they took some places and territories of India under their power, and even if the ruler British officials were kept in the king's court to keep an eye on the administration of that region. Those officials are known as the residents. See children, in this slide you can see the expansion of British power in India. Just now we learned now what is that? Bengal region took over by company. First started with Bengal, then later they took this northern Sarkars region of Madras province. So these were the company's region under the company. The remaining part was Indian rulers were ruling. Okay. But next see, in 1830, so it has changed. Many places were occupied by British. So wherever this yellow color is there, see these are all the places occupied by British by 1830. See the difference? 1830, so these many places they expanded to other regions also. See next, by 1857 and most places were under the control of British East India Company. Okay. Now see the present political map of India. Now you can easily compare which places were under British rule at that time. So children, in this way the British started expanding their rule over India. But though they were ruling, most of the people of all sections, farmers, rulers, royal families and even common people were not satisfied with the British rule. Are you all following children? The discontent with the English rule. Discontent means not having satisfaction. They are not satisfied with the English rule. Let us see the royal families. So the royal families resisted the British because they removed the rulers as and when it suited their purpose. That means the Britishers, whenever they wanted, they used to dethrone the kings, the rulers. They used to remove them from the ruling and they used to keep the British official person and they started ruling. So, royal families were not satisfied. And tribal people. Why tribal people are not satisfied? Because the new rules and laws were implementing in their areas. Where do tribal people live, children? Tribal people live in and near the forest. So, they are like the owners of the forest. Whatever they need, they will get basic necessary things from the forest, and they used to protect the forest also. Yes or no? So, in that way the tribal people were also not satisfied. Next, farmers and landowners. They resisted the British for imposing very high taxes. See, Britishers, they used to collect the tax from the farmers, landlords. So, they were also not satisfied. They are also discontent with the British rule. So, with this, the British faced the toughest battle in 1857 by Indian soldiers. So, you can see almost all categories of Indian people were not satisfied with the British rulers, even the soldiers. Why? We will see. Okay, children, you can see some of the royal families who fought very bravely with the Britishers. Nana Sahib, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi and Tantia Tope. Here we come to the most important event of the British rule. See, children, the revolt of 1857. It is also known as Sipai Mutiny. It is also known as Indian Mutiny and Great Rebellion. This was taken by the Indian soldiers against the Britishers. This took place at military cantonment. Cantonment means the military area, camp at Meerut, where the British army had camped, and it was took place on May 10th, the Sunday of 1857. Children, this is also known as the first war of Indian independence. The Great Revolt of 1857 known as First War of Independence. Let's see what are the reasons for the revolt of 1857. The soldiers who helped the British now fed up with the behavior of the British. The reasons were they were not getting the salaries on time and they were not treated with respect along with the British army. And top of this, apart from all this, the main reason was the soldiers refused to use the cartridges for their new guns because their religious faith was being violated. Based on this suspicion, a similar uprising had occurred at Barakpur near Kolkata in March 1857. Children, can you identify the picture in this slide? He was Mangal Pandey. See, children, this is the most important reason of the 1857 revolt because our Indians who were as a soldiers for Britishers were mostly Hindus and Muslims. At that time, the Britishers introduced a new type of gun, rifles, for which the soldiers need to open the cartridge with mouth, which was greased with cow and pig fat. This is a cartridge they need to open with mouth and put it into the gun, and then they have to use it. The rebellious soldiers marched towards Delhi that very night. So, children, why the Indian soldiers rejected? Cow was a holy animal for Hindus and pig is a hatred animal for Muslims. So, the Indian soldiers rejected to use these cartridges. That was the main reason for this revolt. You can see in this slide the picture of soldiers at Meerut on Sunday, May 10th of 1857. That very night they went to Meerut and the news was spread very fast, and even police people also joined with the soldiers and they started killing the Britishers, and even they burned the British police stations and government official buildings. That night the soldiers crossed this Yamuna river and reached to Delhi, where the building of Lal Killa was there. In that the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Jafar was imprisoned. So, there the soldiers gave a call, that is, drive out the English and bring back the Mughal rule. So, this revolt spread to all over the country. Even Hyderabad state was also, there was a revolutionary called Turrebaj Khan. he fought against the British in Hyderabad state during 1857 revolt. He, along with the help of Mauli Alauddin, attacked British residency. However, this revolt was suppressed and Turebaj Khan was executed. That means he was killed. And this revolt was spreaded to every village in the country. See, the flames of the revolt spread village to village in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, and peasants, jamindars took up arms. Arms means weapons. And they together had the British on the run, and they even stopped paying the taxes to the British government. Finally, this revolt was suppressed. See, the main reason was in every town different groups were fought separately. There is no unity among the rebels. They fought separately. No combined and well planned effort was there. And also they faced a shortage of modern weapons. So the Britishers killed the rebels in most inhuman ways and hanged their bodies from the trees so that the other people will have fear to continue the revolt. You can see in this slide the British deported Emperor Bahadur Shah to far away in Rangoon, which was in Myanmar now. There he was died. And after this revolt was suppressed in 1858, Queen Victoria of England made some important declarations. Firstly, the Indian kings should rule their own kingdoms, would not be dethroned. So there is no fear of losing the power. Jamindars too were given many concessions and assures to protect their properties, and the promise that Indians would be included in the government. Let us see the Hyderabad state also. The British placed their resident in Hyderabad to look after the entire administration. This is a building of their administration, children. This is presently Koti Women's College. It was a British presidency at that time. The Nizam appointed the Prime Minister, and he was also known as Divan, on the advice of the resident and with the approval of the British Government General. The famous Divan of Hyderabad was Salar Jung. He made very important reforms for the Hyderabad state. See, first divided the kingdom into subhas and districts, abolished the revenue farming system, and instead organized the direct collection of revenue from the farmers without any intermediaries. Secondly, judicial reforms. He started Supreme Court, High Court and District Courts, and there was some separate civil courts and criminal courts. Thirdly, he also improved the railways and roadways. Important railway line was connected from Hyderabad to Wadi, Madras to Sholapur and Madras to Bombay. These were the most reforms taken place by the Salar Jung. And he also started some English medium schools like Dar ul Ulm at Chadargarh in 1855, City College, Deccan Engineering College in 1870, and Madarsa I Aliya were also established. And all these reforms helped Hyderabad to emerge as a modern state in the country. Finally, children, here are some questions. Let me ask you some questions whether you understood well. Try to answer. Name the Portuguese explorer who had discovered the sea route to India and when? Vasco da Gama in 1498. Name the battle after which British started conquering many kingdoms in India. Yes, it is Battle of Plassey. And name the revolutionary who fought against the British in Hyderabad state during 1857. What is the answer? Turebaj Khan. And where was the headquarters of East India Company? It was in London. And name the place from where revolt of 1857 started. It is from military cantonment of Meerut. And name the Queen of England during 1858. Queen Victoria. And who was the last Mughal emperor? Bahadur Shah Jafar. And name the Divan of Hyderabad who made many developmental reforms. Salar Jung. Here is an activity for you children. Children, you have come across many role plays or many important persons in this lesson. So, pick up one role model of your choice and make a report on him. Here is an activity. Pick a role of one person and make a report of him. Improve your learning. Children, you need to read the textbook thoroughly and find out the answers for this. Why did the European trading companies maintain armies in India? And what role did these armies play in business of the companies? Secondly, in 1857, which soldiers felt their religious faith was being violated and why? Locate the sea route of Vasco da Gama from Portugal to India in the world map. And finally, locate the following places in India map like Calicut, Goa, Calcutta, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Mysore. That's all for today's session, children. Hope you have all understood well. For better understanding of the concepts, please solve the worksheets given for you and please visit the official site of SIET. Thank you very much.